afternoon, folks. It is the afternoon of October the 14th, 2021, and I'd like to share my thoughts with you today about a phenomenon that I've noticed is consistent in societies that favor a socially collectivist view of the world. One of the lessons one learns from reading Jungian psychology is the need for personal accountability and personal development. Jung called it individuation, where our conscious mind, our personal unconscious, and the collective unconscious are brought together in a whole, in a complete understanding of self that also includes incorporating our anima or animos, which is the opposite characteristic that all humanity has of traits from the other sex. These things we learn from the parent of the opposite sex. As many of you will know or will have read, there was a horrendous attack in Kongsberg, Norway, where a chap with a crossbow went into public, first into a co-op store and then out into the streets, apparently, killed 5 people and injured others, including the police officers that were involved in apprehending the suspect. Turns out he's a 37-year-old person of Danish citizenry who had accepted radical Muslim ideology and had been radicalized by it. The first thing I noted in reading the news report is that they didn't release the person's name. The second thing I noted is that there was an attempt to deny that this would have anything to do with Islam. The third thing I noted is that they tried to paint the culprit as being ill, and that his behavior was not a result of him being ideologically possessed and evil, but rather that he had some illness that made him not responsible for his actions. More than ever, we need to develop a far more sophisticated idea of evil. But if you want to pathologize something, let's pathologize the many pathological thoughts, the things that Dr. Gadsad refers to as mind pathogens that are corrupting civil society. A belief in social collectivism and this cloying need to paint every evil act that human beings are capable of committing as pathological is nonsense. Each of us are responsible for our behavior. Each of us must be held accountable for our behavior. Everything we know about civil society to this point in time has held the individual accountable when they committed perverse and indecent and murderous acts. That's why we have the law. Please note that under a socially collectivist society, that's the first thing the socialists try to undo, the rule of law, by pathologizing the person themselves rather than their actions. This has got to stop. We need to hold our politicians, our bureaucrats, our teachers, our university professors accountable for spreading these lies through society. Each of us will give account for what we have done in this body. No one who understands human nature believes themselves to be guiltless. That's why we need Christ to address what is an essential part of our humanity, that is, our wicked and fallen nature. What that guy did in Kongsberg was an act of perverse indecency, and I don't give a shit what label you want to apply to him. He needs to be held accountable, and these acts of terrorism in the name of a religion, I like to call it the religion of pieces. One piece over here, one piece over there. It's not the religion of peace, because a religion of peace does not commit such indecent acts. That is abundantly obvious. We need to stop the narrative that's being fed to us by the liars in power. Look at what has happened in every regime that has accepted a socially collective ideology, a regime that takes the focus off the individual and their accountability and puts it onto the group. Those are mind pathogens. And there's something to think and pray about on this October the 14th as we contemplate what happened in that poor little town in Norway yesterday. Take care, folks.